Hi friends, my name is Niman Bhatt and I welcome you to this video tutorial which is about GNS3 Network Simulator. So in the previous video tutorial, we have talked about the startup and the running configurations and how we can use pipe functions for these show commands. And we have already learned about the IP addressing, the subnet mask, subnetting, and the changes of the host name and the passwords. But in this video tutorial, uh, we are going to learn about how we can back up our initial configuration and how we can restore the configuration. This is the first thing we are going to learn, and we are going to back up this configuration to a TFTP network. Okay, TFTP server, which is used to transfer and receive files. That is a protocol. Okay, and after that we are going to talk about DHCP and how we can configure DHCP. We can how we will learn about DHCP and how we can configure this DHCP. That is all I'm going to show in this video tutorial, and how we can later on display the configuration of the DHCP. First of all, we'll start with the backup of backing up of configuration. So we'll just go into the command line of router. Okay, in the command line of the router. This was already the network that I had formed, so you just have to form a network and start with whatever you want to. So right now we're going to first learn how we can back up our configuration, that is the startup configuration, how we can back up and copy it to TFTP server, which is a transfer file protocol. This protocol is basically used to send and receive files. So what we have to do right now is that we are going to copy this startup configuration to the TFTP server. For that, we just have to write the command in the privilege mode. Right now we are in the privilege mode. We are not configuring, we are basically backing up. We are trying to copy the configuration of the router, so we have to write the command over here. Let's write the command copy startup configuration TFTP. And what is the command again? This is the basic command, copy startup configuration TFTP, and we have to press enter. Now we have to assign the address or the name of the remote host. That is we have to give the address, IP address of the TFTP server that you have to assign to a TFTP server. It is basically an address which you have to assign to a TFTP server. In the network topology, if you have a server, assign an address to it, IP address to it, and give it here if you want to copy your configuration to that address. It's very simple. Give an address. For example, I'm just giving an address. I have not assigned any address to FTP server. I'm just giving an address. This is a class A IP address, and I'm pressing enter. Now this is the destination file name. That is, will this copy from R2. It will copy the configuration from R2 router, and then you have to press enter. So this was about copying the basic this initial startup configuration, backing up this configuration. And if you want to again now restore this configuration, if you want to restore the configuration you have just saved, you have just copied, you have to just shift this command, that is, you have to write TFTP in the place of startup configuration. Okay, and the vice versa. For that, we have the command copy TFTP startup configuration. Now here is the command copy TFTP startup configuration. What I'm going to do here is very simple. What are we trying to do is we are trying to copy the configuration from the TFTP to our startup configuration. That is, we are restoring the configuration we have stored to a TFTP server. This stored configuration will be copied back as startup configuration for the router. Then you have to press enter and give the address from where you have to get from where you have to retrieve the initial configuration. Very simple. Just write the address and retrieve your initial configuration. This is about how we can back up our startup configuration. Very simple. What we did is we copied our startup configuration to a TFTP server. We have to open TFTP any server in the configuration which is not dependent on this command line. You just have to open it and assign a IP address to it, and then you have to give that IP address over here as I'm showing it. You have to enter that over here, and then when you want to retrieve the when you have to retrieve it to your router, you have to enter it again over here. So that is about the backup of configuration. So now after this we learned about how we can back up our initial configuration, and now we have to learn about dhcp. This is the main topic of this video tutorial, that is how we can configure dynamic host configuration protocol. This protocol is used to basically distribute network configuration parameters, which include IP addresses, subnet masks, etc. And it's available in the pool of IP addresses, and then this among these pool of IP addresses, one of them is assigned to a DHCP client. Now let's start with the configuration of DHCP server. First, how we can configure this DHCP server, and what exactly and thoroughly what we mean by the commands we are going to enter and use for this DHCP server. I have explained it in the description that what basically why these commands are used, what is the purpose. So please read it out first. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the commands. I'm going to explain it too, but try to understand it in a detailed manner, which is given in the description. So first we have to write a command for entering the DHCP, but in the DHCP we have to first use the addresses, that is the excluded addresses that should not be assigned to the hosts, the addresses which should not be assigned to the hosts. And we have a command for that, that is we first have to go into the configuration mode of the router. We know how we can do this. Write the command config t and press enter. Now we have to write the command IP dhcp excluded address. Now we have to write the two addresses, that is the range of addresses we want to give, the excluded addresses which we don't want the to be assigned to the host. We have to give the range from what address to which address to what address do we want to exclude the addresses which should not be given to the hosts. Right here I'm going to use two addresses, for example 192.168.4.0. this is my network class C IP address for network 4 192.168.4.0, and now I have to give another address, that is the range of addresses from which that is basically the total addresses which I want to exclude and which should not be given to the hosts. Now I'll write another address which is like 192.168.4.25. So you should understand here, first of all, the command is IP dhcp excluded address. 192, that is not the command, 192 is the address from where I want to start it, like the exclusion. And here I have wrote 192.168.4.25. so the range is from 0.0 to 0.25, that is 25 addresses, and these are the addresses that I want to exclude. So this is the first command for this IP dhcp. DHCP, for configuring a DHCP server, we have to give this range of commands which we range of IP addresses which we want to exclude from being assigned to the hosts. Now we have to press enter. Now the second command is to assign it a DHCP pool and then name it. So for that we have a command that is IP dhcp pool, and now the name I want to choose for this DHCP. So for example, the name I want to choose is dhcp. Okay, I have with this command I am assigning a DHCP pool and giving it a name. The name is chosen as DHCP and you can choose it as anything, and then you have to press enter. Okay, now we are into the DHCP pool. Now what will be our next command is that we have to assign a subnet and its subnet mask, and the command will be network with its subnet and its subnet masks. So the command here will be network. For example, the subnet which I want to use will be of the IP address 192.168.4.0. okay, and now I have to write the subnet mask of this IP address. Say the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. that is, I'm using /24 subnet mask here. And then basically this is the command here in the DHCP configuration, that is the pool of DHCP server. I'm using the network and its subnet and its subnet, which is 192.168.4.0, and the subnet mask, which is this, which I am highlighting in the video. Okay, now I have to press enter. Okay, after this what I have to choose is I have to choose a default router, that is the gateway address. Okay, a default gateway address for this DHCP server, which we can choose with the help of the command default dash router, and now we have to enter the address which we want to choose as the gateway. Here I'm going to choose IP address 192.168.4.1 as the gateway. It is as desired by the user. So let us say the address is 192.168.4.1. okay, so what I have done is I've chosen a default gateway for the DHCP server, which is 192.168.4.1. okay, after this I have to press enter. Now what have we done so far? We have first given the range of IP addresses that have to be excluded to be assigned to the hosts. Then we have configured a DHCP pool and given it a name. After that we have to write the network, assign the network which can be assigned to the hosts. We have to give its subnet and its subnet mask, and then we have to assign the gateway router. After that, the final step will be we have to assign the server, that is DNS server, to this DHCP pool. For that we have the command dash server, and the server and the address that we want to choose for it. Say again, I'm choosing this address 192.168.4.1. So what I have done is I have chosen an address for DNS server. So this is exactly how we can configure DHCP. First we have to enter into the DHCP and write about the excluded addresses. Then I have to choose the network about the subnet mask and the subnet mask and the subnet that can be assigned to the host. Then again the gateway and the server, and then I'll try to save the configuration. I'll go back into the configuration mode and save the configuration using do wr command, and I'll press confirm. And this will be done here. So now this is how we have built the configuration. Now if you want to show this dhcp configuration, we have to go back to the privilege mode and write the command show ip dhcp binding and press enter. This is how we can show the IP DHCP binding, and this is in this video tutorial we learned how we can back up the configuration and how we can configure DHCP, and I have shown you how we can configure it with the help of the command line. Now before you start configuring it, try to understand it properly, which is given in the description, that why we are configuring it, and why are these commands used, and how we can back up the configuration. This was all from this video tutorial, and I'll hope you will like it, and thank you for being a part of it. Thank you.